Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're talking about Skaventide. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so I warned people in advance. I made a prediction ahead of time, and it's time to talk about Skaventide. So it's been about a month since this game came out. It is still available from Games Workshop on the web store. Retail price from Games Workshop is $265 USD. It's important also to understand that depending on where you're located at, what region, Games Workshop has very stringent restrictions on what a retailer is allowed to offer as a discount. And here in the United States, it is restricted to 15% off MSRP of items that are still in stock on Games Workshop's web store. Now in the UK and some other places like Europe, it's up to 20%. And that's basically just the advertised discount that companies are allowed to sell their products for while Games Workshop still has it in their range or in their inventory. And the reason they do that is to basically just make sure that companies that are buying from them don't just undercut each other and drive prices way down, which obviously would be good for the consumer, but Games Workshop doesn't want that to happen. They want to basically control the prices so that they can use FOMO, lack of supply, to basically create artificial demand or keep their prices high. So that being said, we see here on the Games Workshop web store that Skaventide is still in stock, online only, for $265. So they're still 100% willing and trying to sell directly to the customer at $265. Now, in the past, for instance, with Dominion, when that game came out, I warned people once again that they had massively overproduced it. And what Games Workshop did there is they used FOMO to drive sales directly to the FLGs. They told them there was going to be an extremely limited number of these. They created a ton of artificial demand, hyped it up, made people get super excited, told the game stores that there was going to be a very limited number of them and that they were initially going to go out in 3 waves. The first wave was going to be your initial order. A month was going to go by. You were going to get another part of that initial order, or like another third of your allocations from Games Workshop. And then finally, after 2 months from release date, they were going to send out the remainder. They waited basically 2 weeks, and the 2-week pre-order period saw that the sales were falling completely on their faces, and without any notification, without any warning, they just charged all of those FLG's accounts and just shipped out the entire stock. So Games Workshop was able to basically unload their entire inventory on unsuspecting FLGs who thought that this was going to be a massive booming product and an opportunity to make some money to pay their rent. And what happened over the next few years is basically these stores were just sitting on dozens, in some cases even hundreds of copies of Dominion. And then Games Workshop turned around behind their backs and unloaded their remaining stock directly to Amazon liquidators. And it's no surprise that suddenly the $200 product was selling for $100, including shipping, less than 50% of MSRP, which meant that basically stores had 2 choices: to just sit on their stock of Dominion, try to sell it for a discount just to break even, or unload it at a loss just to free up that capital so that they could buy other products. As a majority of small local game stores don't just have tons of money sitting around in their account where they can store thousands of dollars worth of Skaventide with hopes that one day the price would go back to normal and they'd be able to sell it without taking a loss. So now it is important to keep in mind that I think Skaventide is a great product. I think it's awesome. The miniatures inside are great. The new Spearhead game mode is awesome. The terrain included in the set is absolutely amazing as well. It has a beautiful rulebook with tons of illustrations. It comes with the cards, the General's Handbook equivalent. I think it's a really, really good box, and I picked it up myself. But just like I predicted, just like I warned people about, if we jump over to Amazon right now, we can see that it is already happening. Here we have the $265 product already priced down $65 or 25%. Selling for $200 with free shipping inside the United States. Now keep in mind that any FLGs or anyone that has a trade account with Games Workshop would not even be able to do this, which means one thing and one thing only. These items are already being offloaded on liquidators. And once this starts, especially considering that Games Workshop still has this product in stock, that it's only been a month since release date, the prices are only going to be going in one direction, and that is lower. So if you were smart, if you heeded the warning, if you were waited, if you were patient, you can already save $65 or 25% on Skaventide. And the truth is, I fully expect this price to continue lower. All right, so we got a quick little update on Skaventide. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been hearing a bunch of confirmed rumors that Games Workshop has been giving away hundreds of copies of Skaventide as promotions or prizes in various regions around the world. And exactly what we predicted, what we expected has come true. Games Workshop has just offloaded their entire stock of Skaventide. It is no longer available on their website, sold out online. That means they have just sent everything to the liquidators as we expected. So I fully expect Skaventide price to drop drastically over the next couple of weeks and months. And if we jump over to eBay, we can see Deal Online 18, someone that I am 100% not affiliated with. I get nothing from you buying from these people or anything like that. Just pointing out this is the best deal that I found on eBay so far, $191.99. Already 80 copies sold, and I fully expect the prices to continue going down. Not necessarily from this retailer, but just in general, as Games Workshop has offloaded their entire stock, thousands of boxes of Skaventide, onto liquidators. And like we discussed in the past, supply and demand dynamics dictate that if there's a sudden influx of supply hitting the market, it's going to drive down prices in order to attract more buyers. And this is essentially what we call the race to the bottom. So just wanted to do a little update. Now, a little over 2 months after the release of Skaventide, we're already seeing this happen and at a rapid pace. And I fully expect the downward spiral in prices to continue on, as all over the world, if you walk into any friendly local game store or any online retailer, they have dozens and in some cases hundreds of copies of Skaventide that they're looking to offload just to break even, or in some cases at a loss. And as this mass amount of supply hits the market, as Games Workshop continues to give these things away promotionally to clear out their warehouses, I fully expect the price to continue dropping.
Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video.
Now, this particular Amazon seller only has 11 items in stock, but this is not the only one on Amazon. This is not the only one that's going to be on Amazon. There's also lots of other online sites like eBay that are selling items at $200 or cheaper. The cheapest set of Skaventide so far I've seen sell is $175 plus tax with free shipping. But the fact that this item is still in stock on Games Workshop's web store, we know it was massively overproduced. And regardless of how popular Games Workshop wants this game to be, wants Age of Sigmar to be, we know that they have massively overproduced this item. And while I'm not sure that it's going to get down to 50% of retail and be selling for like $130 like we saw with Dominion, it's very clear now that we are going to continue to see the price dropping. It took like 6 months, almost a year, before Dominion was being sold at 50% off retail and people needed to recoup their initial investment. Stores needed to get back that money so they could buy other products with it and try to turn a profit. But now here we are only 1 month after release of Skaventide, and we're already seeing a $65 discount, a 25% discount. This is huge. And I fully expect this trend to continue because a lot of people, a lot of stores, even Games Workshop themselves just have not realized how massively overproduced this box set was. So one of the things I specifically like to focus on this channel is just trying to bring value to the community, warning you when something's not a good product or letting you know my opinion on something, what I expect to happen in the future. And obviously this is a specific case where if you did listen, if you heeded my warnings, you're already able to get a massive discount on this box set. Now, I personally picked up Skaventide. I think this is an amazing box. I am super excited for it. I've opened it up. I've taken a look. The miniatures inside are beautiful. It is a great deal and probably one of the best boxes Games Workshop has ever produced. But to tell you the truth, them raising the prices, them trying to take advantage of FOMO and greed and raising the price up to $265 was clearly a massive mistake, because the truth is, if they were selling these at $200, they wouldn't even have to discount them, because they would have sold thousands and thousands more of them. Instead, they got greedy. They tried to raise their prices. They put it up over $265. And now the market has responded. Supply and demand is already setting in. And only a month after release, we're already seeing this product massively discounted. And once an item is massively discounted like this, the more time that goes by, the more time these are just sitting in stores or sitting in Games Workshop's own warehouse, piled sky high, the cheaper it's going to get. Because the way supply and demand works, if there's too much supply, prices fall until there creates more demand. So maybe there's not enough demand to sell all these out at $265, but at $200, we'll suddenly see a bunch of people that otherwise weren't interested show up and pick up a copy. And the same thing will continue to happen as the price falls in order to create more demand. So soon we'll see them for $175, maybe even as low as $150. And while I'm not rooting for the downfall of Games Workshop, it's very important that the market actually dictates the price on these products and not just Games Workshop themselves, because we've seen over the last couple of years, Games Workshop has fully taken advantage of their customers. They have done everything in their power to maintain extremely high profit margins, extremely high net profits, and fully extorted their customers using FOMO, lack of supply, to create artificial demand, and now they're paying the price. FLGs had wised up after we saw what happened with Dominion, and they were very, very conservative with their actual orders for how many of these copies of Skaventide they were going to pick up. Now Games Workshop is sitting on a massive supply, tens of thousands of copies of Skaventide, and it's just a matter of time before they decide to offload their own copies on Amazon or eBay liquidators, and that is going to flood the market with copies of Skaventide, and that is going to drive the price down extremely low, extremely fast. So I fully expect in the next couple of months, as Games Workshop unloads all these copies to the liquidators, that we should see Skaventide easily in the $175, even as low as $150 price point. Now the real question for you is it worth waiting a couple more months to save another $25 or $50? Do you want to jump on this copy on Amazon right now for $200, or jump over to eBay and see if you can get one for $175? Or maybe you're not even interested at all. But a lot of people had asked for me to do a follow-up video discussing the price of Skaventide and either showing was I right or was I wrong. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Games Workshop got greedy and now they're paying the price. So let me know if you picked up Skaventide, what you think of the box set. Do you regret buying it at full price for $265 now that it's available readily all over the internet at $200 or less? Me personally, I don't mind that I paid a little bit more. It was nice to get the copy ahead of time. But I know a lot of people out there who paid full price directly from Games Workshop with tax just to get a couple of markers or counters. Or maybe they paid full price at their local game store, probably kicking themselves right now. So let me know down in the comments. Always like to hear back from you guys. And of course, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm glad that Games Workshop got greedy, because now they're paying the price. And I fully expect this type of thing to keep happening. And I'm out of here.